नमः सर्वेभ्यः स्वागतम्। गुरुरेव गतिः गुरुमेव भजे, गुरुणैव सहास्मि नमो गुरवे। न गुरोः परमं शिशुरस्मि गुरोः, मतिरस्ति गुरौ मम पाहि गुरो। ब्रवीमि संस्कृतं वाचा, ध्यायामि संस्कृतं हृदा। कुर्वे सेवाञ्च कायेन, वन्दे संस्कृतमातरम्। यो नरः संस्कृतव्योम्नि, ह्यालयं रमते मुदा। संस्कृतिं चैव संस्कारं, विन्दते नात्र संशयः। नमः सर्वेभ्यः। राम राम राम। Welcome to Leadership Lessons from Srimad-Bhagavad-Gita. A heartily welcome to one and all. Just quickly, I would like to share how to join to our portal and how to join to our webinar. As you are aware, you will be joining from your mail ID and you will be seeing this My Learning board. Once you click on My Learning, you will be taken to your student dashboard. So as and when class starts, you will be having like your here join now button will appear. You need to click on join now button and you can join the class. And for the course content and material, you have to click on course. And under contents, every class will be like class recordings will be uploaded. So you have to go back, you need to click on go to dashboard. And to explore courses, you need to click on our Vyoma website here. This is the brief guidance. And for any queries and any contacts, you can mail us to sanskritfromhome@vyomalabs.in. Dhanyavadah. Now I request Viswanathan Mahodaya to introduce chief guest and brief about the course. Dhanyavadah. Ram Ram.
मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपा तमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवम्। सम्यक् श्रूयते दृश्यते किल? हाँ, सर्वेषाम् आज्ञया अनुज्ञया महोदयानाम् अनुज्ञया 10 निमेषं प्रास्ताविकं किञ्चित् वक्तुम् इच्छामि. With your permission, I will just say a few words, Mahodaya. So there are, first of all, great warm welcome to everyone on this Bhavya Bhanuvasara. It is a very, very vibrant Sunday, and more than 200, I think around 300 participants sitting on a webinar for leadership lessons from Srimad-Bhagavad-Gita. Really is a great message for Bharat shining today. I have around 6 points, very, very important points, which we want to share on behalf of the management of Vyoma, on behalf of the teacher, and also on behalf of the Samskrita, Samskriti, Samskara people who are working in this field. So first, to start with an anecdote. This is a story which my father, who has been teaching Bhagavad Gita, who has been practicing Bhagavad Gita for the past 60 years in his life, he keeps telling this story many times, and still every time he tells this story, new insights come from this story actually. The story goes like this. Ganga Nadi Tire, on the banks of river Ganga, there is an old scholar who is teaching lot of Vedas, Upanishads, Bhagavad Gita, all to his students. And he has a devout wife who is serving him all his life. At the end of his life, he realizes he is not specifically taught anything to his wife. And then he decides one day that I will teach Bhagavad Gita to you, because that is the Sara Sangraha of the entire Sanatana Dharma. At that time, he calls the wife, she makes her sit there. He is also around 90, she is also around 80. They are old couple sitting there and trying to read the Bhagavad Gita. So he starts like this, the first shloka. Most of us know this shloka actually. So it goes like this. He starts with Dharma Kshetre Kurukshetre. The wife also namaskaram she does, and she starts Dharma Kshetre Kurukshetre. Then he continues Samaveta Yuyutsavaha. She tells Dharma Kshetre Kurukshetre. He's a little bit surprised, maybe old age, not able to hear properly. Let me chant a little bit more louder. Mamaka Pandavaschaiva. She says Dharma Kshetre Kurukshetre. Then again, something is wrong. Let me try one more last time. Kimakurvata Sanjaya. And she says, Dharma Kshetre Kurukshetre. The Vidwan, the scholar, is very perplexed. He asks her, what happened? I am teaching you this entire summary of the whole essence of all the knowledge. And I'm trying to teach you, and you are stuck in the first quarter, the first pada itself. You are telling, why are you doing like this? Why are you not repeating along with me? And are you not interested in learning? At that time, she says, forbid me or pardon me for my adhika atyukti, for my overtelling. But somehow I feel, after listening to all the lessons which you have been teaching, somehow I feel that this first pada, which is there, has the essence of the entire knowledge which you have been teaching for the last 90 years. At that time, she says, what is that? He gets very surprised, and he asks, what is it? And she says, let us just rearrange the words a little bit. It comes as Kshetre, Kshetre, Dharma, Kuru. It can be Dharmam Kuru or Dharma Kuru. But she says, this is the essence of the entire knowledge which I am learning. And probably this is the first leadership lesson which our elders have taught us. As a student, as a teacher, as a Samaja Sevaka, as a working professional, as a CXO, as a retired person, as whatever age we are, in whatever persona we belong to. But in our own kshetra, if we are able to do the dharmic prescribed activities which are there, then I think we are doing what the Sanatana Dharma or the entire knowledge actually tells about. So this is one anecdote which we always remember, and probably that is the first leadership lesson which we learn from Bhagavad Gita. So once again, a very, very hearty welcome. We offer this Pushpanjali at the lotus leaf of our Guru, of all the people who are involved in this, all the Arjunas and Krishna Swarupins, all of you who have joined here. Each of us are an Arjuna, each of us are Krishna, and we are going to invoke that leadership quality from the Bhagavad Gita. The third important point which we want to share from the Vyoma side is the Vyoma learning model, which is very important because many of us have this question as to how do I approach a Bhagavad Gita? How do I get leadership lessons? I don't know Sanskrit. If I want to know Sanskrit, how can I do it? These are some of the questions which come, and probably this learning model can give us an answer to this. In the Vyoma learning model, there are 4 important steps. The first one being Bhashadhyayanam, or the basic language learning. The second step is a textual learning. So in the first, when we learn the LSRW, listen, speak, read, write skills, in the second step, we actually take a grantha or a text and get involved in that. In the third step, we learn the nuances of the Shastra, something like a grammar, Vyakarana Shastra, or similar knowledge we try to learn. Along with this, there is an important part called as applied Sanskrit studies, or vyoma-samskrta. So we can all enter the world of Samskrita, Samskriti, Samskara from any of these angles. Some of us who have learned Sanskrit in the school would have entered through the Bhashadhyanam route, and we would have gone to the Grantha-Adhyanam, Shastra, and we continue the cycle. Some of us, and we also go to the applied Sanskrit. Some of us would have taken a grantha, directly started from a Ramayana, directly started from a Bhagavad Gita. We can always then go to the other parts also. Some of us directly would have come here as a leadership lessons from Bhagavad Gita, or the previous class by Mahodaya, which was also a very, very popular class, wherein all the management principles from ancient Indian texts, specifically from Bhagavad Gita, which spoke about design thinking, critical problem solving, decision making, and lot of other things were told in the previous course. Actually, you can always look at the recording of that course. So these are the four aspects where Vyoma is trying to bring everybody to one platform and share knowledge. So this is the place where we are today, which is the Vinyoga-Samskritam, applying the Sanskrit studies in our daily life or in our professional life. Within that, there is a term which is being popularly used today, known as Indian knowledge systems. So many organizations, many stalwarts are doing amazing work in this field. And just when we ask what is Indian knowledge systems, that is a question which has come in the mail from many participants. So it is a combination of the Vedas, the four Vedas, the four Upavedas, the six Vedangas, the six Darshanas, the other Shastras like Dharma Shastra, Smriti Granthas, Bhakti Shastra, Tantra Shastra, the entire Kavya literature, the Katha literature. It talks about the entire repository of Indian knowledge, which has been very systematically, scientifically expounded and documented. It also includes the traditions, practices, undocumented practices or customs which are there. It also includes the regional language repositories which is there. So this is one very magnanimous repository where all of us can benefit from it. Now, there is one more question which a few friends of us were asking. Actually, why is this course important? Is it important professionally? Is it important career-wise? Or is it important personally? So, when we see from today, we have lot of students from various colleges, from our National Business Academy, from the National Business School, from BNMIT College, from New Horizon College, from Dayanand Sagar College, lot of students, the staff. There are a few CXOs whom I can see in the audience. There are great thinkers, management thinkers who have also joined. Some well-wishers of Vyoma, elders have joined. So then what is the purpose? Why should I join this course? If people ask, probably for our business administration and other students who are trying to establish a career, the first important thing is all businesses today are doing business in India. So while we are doing a business in India, we are managing businesses in India, it may not be fully helpful to read a Kotler or a Kavi or other models and try to implement it in India. We need we also need the support of a management system which has evolved from the Indian grassroots, from the Indian culture, from the Indian literature. For that, it is very important that a leadership lesson from Bhagavad Gita has to be attended and absorbed by us. That is the professional career answer probably. Of course, there are many other answers, but I am just taking two answers here. The other thing in from a personal life, when we see, this was one challenge which my guru actually gave me, and till date, fortunately, she has been winning this challenge, because when we asked why you keep talking about Bhagavad Gita always and not any other text, she said, do one thing in your life. Whenever you face any problem, professional problem, problem in your studies, relationship problem, or any other problem, let it be. If you are not able to find solution to it, just open any book of Bhagavad Gita, which has the shlokas, which has some translation. Go through a few pages, and I can write it and give it to you, that you will find solution for the problem. You will find some management related techniques for that problem by reading through that. And till date, this idea has been absolutely successful, and this has been shared by many elders also. So that way, it is a very, very important course for us. And apart from that, one very important point which our Vyoma management also wanted to share is, with the help of all elders and blessings, Vyoma is also trying to join the other organizations in the area of IKS, Indian Knowledge Systems, in the field of management. It includes all the topics which we have put there. But the three important steps which we are already working on is to unearth the knowledge which is happening here, implement it in syllabus, either through our courses or through educational institution courses. And the third most important thing is to solve contemporary problems in the companies or in the country through this knowledge from management. This is a very important task which we are trying to work. We require all your blessings and support in this. And ante pyananta rupena, our pranams and salutations to one of the finest personality we have ever met till date. So if I have to summarize Guruji, Professor Guruji, in a nutshell, the rich professional experience which he has, having worked in leading MNCs at very, very senior positions, having been registrar of very great institutions, having been a director, having been a principal, continuing to serve academic institutions through his administrative capabilities, through his knowledge. And coming with these two, we may still find people, but all of this with the strong base of the Vedas and the Vedic knowledge. And this Veda is not the only the Rig Veda or the Samskrita Veda, Yajur Veda, which we talk about, but also the Tamil Veda or the regional Vedic knowledge, which is the Divya Prabandham we call, balancing both the Vedas very beautifully with the amazing knowledge of music, Sangeetam, through which he brings out that empathetic dissemination of knowledge, his very strong practical knowledge of Sanskritam, the way he composes poems, compositions on the Lord Bhagavan are a very true exemplary example of his knowledge. And above all, the blessings of both Bhagavan and all his gurus which he brings in. So such a combination of a teacher, if we have got today, it is only a great punyam that out of 8 billion people, around 539 people I can see here. We have more than 530 people in this place, in this webinar. And if we are those most fortunate people who are able to get the essence of knowledge from his experience. So our pranams, namah purastat, atha prishtataste, namostute sarvata eva sarva, paunaf punyena, namaskaran samarpayami, swagatam samarpayami. We are absolutely thrilled for you to accept this platform and shower your knowledge on this platform, Guruji. Finally, a few important points. This course is being attended by multiple people and it can benefit everybody. So please share this information to everyone. For those of us who are in educational institutions and who need credits, this course is equivalent to a 2-credit course. And if we want to get a certificate for transferring the credits or claiming your credits from your institution, please let us know. There is a certificate, but a small requirement that we complete the MCQ CBT assessment, which happens at the end of this course. There'll be a computer-based multiple choice question-based assessment, a very simple assessment. Some of us have told us that we won't be able to attend in live, but that is fine. You can always watch recordings. As much as if you attend live, you can talk to the teacher, engage, ask questions and get it clarified also. But if you are looking at recordings, you can always send your questions to sanskritfromhome@vyomalabs.in, our email ID. We will try our best to answer it at the earliest possible. Please do bear with us if there is a small delay in answering them. And even any of us want to participate with us in the area of IKS in management, as volunteers, as advisors, as teachers, as supporters, please do reach out to us, and we will be more than glad to go together in this journey. Antepyananta Rupena, a warm welcome to everyone in this webinar, in this Jnana Yajna. And again, welcome to our Professor Mahodaya. I request you to shower us with your blessings and knowledge. Kshamyatam, I've taken a little bit extra time, but wanted to share this prastavikam with everybody. Dhanyavadaha. Ram Ram Ram. Namaste.
Vasudevasutam devam kamsachanooramardhanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. Namaskarams to all on this platform. It's a beautiful Sunday morning and 566 and going on. Shrotas and knowledge seekers are here to join me in this Jnana Yajna. It's an absolute brilliant experience to be with all of you, to discuss a few facets on leadership from Bhagavad-Gita. When we talk about unity of command, the highest platform is held by Srimad Narayana, or the Creator, and the entire creation reports to that entity. Urdhva Moolam, Adhashakham, Ashvattam Prahuravyayam, Chandamsi Yasya Paranani, Yastam Veda Savedavit, is what is told in the 15th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, where the root is on top and the branches and leaves are at the bottom. I profusely bow to Vyoma-Samskrta from home to have also co-opted the soul in this Jnana Yajna. They have been doing human service in the field of Sanskrit and applied Sanskrit. And the soul is extremely fortunate to be with them during this particular session or course, as we call it. So, why is Bhagavad Gita so important? It has been told, Partham Prapannam Uddishya Shastravataranam is what has been told. Keeping Partha or Arjuna as a Vyaja, as an instrument, he gave the Bhagavad Gita, the Lord himself gave the Bhagavad Gita to the entire creation. Bhagavad Gita is for the universe. It is not for a sect, we need to understand. It is for the universe. It is a universal text and it is a Yoga Shastra. Yoga Shastra means that whatever is told in that can be verified. So out of an ocean, in these 20 odd sessions, we pick up a few drops which, when drunk, would raise us in our life towards self-actualization and God realization. The path of spirituality could be threaded with these few drops of Bhagavad Gita when we take it in. Very importantly, today being the introductory session, we would see a few slides. First of all, whatever Viswanathan has told does not depict the soul as at all. The soul is a humble learner and have been craving to hold on to spiritual gurus to learn. Very importantly, the soul wishes to be a student all through till the body drops. Vasamsi jirnani yatha vihaya. Navani grinnadi naroparani. Tatha sharirani vihaya jirnani anyani samyati navani dehi. Is what Krishna told in the second chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. One prayer to the Lord is whatever birth or whatever body he might give to this soul, through these karmas which have been performed, one thing is what the soul craves for, is bhakti. Nasta dharme navasu nichaye naiva kamopa bhoge yadyad bhavyam bhavatu bhagavan purva karmanu rupam etat prarthyam mama bahumatam janma janmantare pitvat padam boruha yugakata nischala bhakti rastu. Any birth, let it come. Only one prayer is there, O Lord, at your feet, that whatever birth you give me, but give me bhakti in that birth, is very, very important. This is what Adi Shankaracharya also prayed, that you give me any birth, but give me bhakti in that particular birth, give me satsanga in that particular birth. So such a satsanga is what we all have got along with Vyoma today. In the Viveka Chudamani, Adi Shankar Bhagavatpada says, Durlabham trayameva yetate daivanugraha hetukam manushyatvam mumukshatvam mahapurusha samshrayaha. In this world, in this universe, we have taken birth, but three things are very rare to achieve. Three things are very rare to achieve. The first one is the human birth. Patanjali, in his Yoga Shastra, says that is after 82 lakh yonis, you get one human birth. Purandar Dasa says, Manava Janma Doddadu, idanna hani madakollabedi huchappagalira. He says, oh fools, getting a human birth is very, very rare. Do not ruin it. Do not ruin it by worldly pursuits. Manushyatvam, Alvar says, Madayil yadunda mukkul pol vayyam. They say, like how a bubble is formed when it rains, and the bubble is so momentary. Just one wasp of air breaks the bubble. In the same way, the life can go out anytime. Or minnin nilayila mannuyir akkaigal. Nammalvar says this, like how momentary is the lightning, so momentary is this life. So a human birth is very, very precious. And what is the productive time we have? Very importantly, Prahalada says in the Srimad-Bhagavata, Kaumaram acharayat prajnaha. He says that only 20% of time is available for us. Durlabham manushpaloke, he says. Even the Alvars say this. Vedanul pirayam nure, manishattam puhuvarelum, padiyum uranki pohum, ninnadir padinayande, peda palanadahum, pini pashi muppattumbum, adalal piravivenden arangamanarudane. When God asks the servant, do you want another birth as a human being? He says, a human being as per the Vedas has got 100 years. As per the Upanishad, we have 120 years. That is Purna is 120 years. In that, half of it goes off in sleep. Padiyum urange pohum. By the time we grow, another 20 years is gone. In childhood, in adolescence, in college, 20, 40 gone. Pini pashi muppattumbam. We say that today, I am not in a mood, fever, body aches. All this takes away another 20 years. 60 gone. Old age takes away another 20 years. What is the productive time? It is only 20 years. Very important, we need to understand. That is why it is said, Durlabham Trayameva Yetate. Daivanugraha hetukam, Manushyatvam Mumukshitvam, Mahapurusha Samshrayaha. First, we are extremely fortunate that we have got a human birth. We have got a human birth. We need to thank God that we have got a human birth, because a human birth is only that birth where we can do sadhana. All the other three, in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Chaturvarnyam maya shrishta gunakarma vibhagasha. Chaturvarnyam. What are the four types? I create in four categories. The four categories in the Ramanuja Bhashya and the Tatparya Chandrike of Swami Vedanta Deshika, it is said that the four categories are the celestials, the animals or the birds, non-living, and the humans. Deva, Manushya, Tiryak, Sthavara. These are the four categories. The other three categories can only enjoy or suffer its karma. But here we have a sadhana. A human body is bestowed by that discrimination faculty, where we can do sadhana, and then prayers can change our karma. Vilupta murdhyanni lipikramanam, surendra chudapada lalithanam, twadangri rajiva rajakhananam, bhuyan prasado mayi natha bhuyaha, is the Hayagriva Stotra of Swami Vedanta Deshika. He says, the lotus feet of the Lord has got the power of erasing the inerasable lines of karma which has been written by Brahma when he is creating all of us. That is the karma lipi, or murdhyana lipi is what we call that hanaya baraha, what we tell in Kannada, or our fate, what we tell. Even the fate can change. Even the fate can change. We need to understand. Robert Frost, in his poem, he said, I took the path which is less thread. Viswanathan Ji was beautifully saying that out of 8 million people, we have now the count is 609. 1,700 people have enrolled. 609 are online now. But Krishna has told this, Manushyanam Sahasreshu. Like how a farmer sows millions of seeds, and out of the millions of seeds, many of them are eaten away by the insects in the soil. Some of them sprout. As soon as they sprout, many of them are destroyed. Some of them grow as plants. Even when they are plants, some of the animals come and eat. Only a few grow as trees. Out of those few trees which grow, even a few are cut by woodcutters. Only a few trees bear the fruits, and those fruits, only a few fruits are taken by people. Like that, bhakti is given to only few. That is why we need to understand in the Rahasya Navanita, this body is a pot, and the soul, which is like milk, it is absolutely pure. In the second chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna beautifully explains this. What is our true nature? We will go to that in the very first instance. I think we are at 9.5 right now, but if not today, in the next class, definitely we will go. So what happens is, this soul is like milk, and the prakriti, the world, is like curds. When milk comes in contact with curds, it also curdifies. It becomes curds. The body is the extension of prakriti. And when the soul comes in contact with this particular body, there is curd inside. Now, what we need to do? We need to churn Bhagavad Gita is basically the churning rod. When we put in the tenets of Bhagavad Gita with the rope called our Guru and go on churning, what will happen? There is Navanita which comes out. There is Navanita which comes out. That Navanita is that butter. So when the pot of curds is churned, butter comes out and Krishna comes running to steal that butter. That is why they have said, Chitta Chora Yashoda ke Bal, Navanita Chora Gopal. Navanita Chora, what is Navanita? New to be given, new, something new to be offered, something new to be offered. Navanita Chora. So if we have to convert the converted curds which is inside, which is our soul today, which is hidden inside, it is like ash which is hiding the fire. If we have to unearth that, we need to take in Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita becomes the churning rod, and with the blessings of our gurus, which is the rope, churning rope, we need to go on doing the mathana, or the churning, and then we get a new you. We look at many management schools which talk about the next version of yourself, the next version of yourself, and that next version, the next to next version is catalyzed, is accelerated by Bhagavad Gita. We need to understand that very, very clearly. So, Bhagavad Gita, as Viswanathan Ji beautifully said, that Bhagavad Gita, Dharma Kshetre, Kurukshetre, Samavetha, Yuyutsava, Mamakaf Pandavas Cheva, Kimakurbata Sanjaya. The two words are very important. It starts with Dharmam and Mama. It ends this. Last verse, Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna, Yatra Partho Dhanurdhara, Tatra Shri Vijayor Bhutihi Dhruvanetir Matir Mama. It ends with Mama. It starts with Dharma, ends with Mama. The first word of Bhagavad Gita is Dharma. The last word of Bhagavad Gita is Mama. Then, when we do the Upakrama Upasamhara Aikyapatti, the Upakrama is the first word, Upasamhara is the last word. When we do the Upakrama Upasamhara Aikyapatti of the Bhagavad Gita, it comes as Mama Dharma. Mama Dharma. What is our Dharma? Our Dharma, first of all, is to realize that we are spiritual beings in a human form. That realization, that Viveka, is very tough to get. It doesn't come over years. It doesn't come over birthdays. It doesn't come over age. It comes through Mahapurusha Samshraya. It comes through Satsanga. Satsangada, Sajjanara Sangha. Dorakitu Yanagiga. Innenu is what Purandaradasa says. Sajjanara Sangha Dorakitu Yanagiga. Satsanga is very, very important. The Sangha of the right people, the team, the right team is absolutely important. So through this Vyoma platform, 607 of us have come to a platform where we are with like-minded people. We need to understand. That is why we can look at recordings. That is the Madhyama Marga. Not coming to courses like this is the Adhama Marga. The Uttama Marga, or the best way, is to join. That is why Tyagaraja, in one of my favorite kritis, Kaddanu Variki Kaddu, he says in the Raga Todi, Niddura Nirakarinchi, Muttuga Tambura Patti, Shuddhamaina Manasuto, Suswaramu Paduchunti. Niddura Nirakarinchi Muttuga Tambura Patti. He says, kick that sleep. October onwards, the weather is going to say I'm getting colder and colder. And the rug is going to say, I need to embrace you tighter and tighter. At that point in time, Tyagaraja says, Nirakarinchi, kick that rug, kick that bedspread, kick that bedsheet, and Mudduga Tambura Patti. He says, hold the Tanpura, Shuddhamaina Manasuto, with a pure mind, Suswaramu Paduchunti. He says, sing the Saptaswara. What is the Tanpura? Tanpura is the physical representation of our body. We need to understand. It is the physical representation of our body. And with a clear mind on a Sunday morning, it is told that the Brahmi Muhurta is between 4 and 6 in the morning. At that time is the time where a human being has to rise. We have to get up in the Brahmi Muhurta. That is the time science says that serotonin levels are at the highest. Where serotonin levels goes up when we take something which we like, when we drink coffee, when we eat chocolate, if we like chocolate, so the feel-good hormone, which is there, which is a secretion from the central nervous system, that is secreted when we take something which we like. But this feel-good hormone is naturally secreted between this period of 4 to 6. That is why Tyagaraja says, Niddura Nirakarinchi Mudduga Tambura Patti Shuddhamaina Manasuto Suswaramu Paduchunti. I had various people asking me this question. 8:30 on Sunday morning. This is one day where we can be relaxed. But we need to realize that sun God, will never ask for a late rising. We need to realize 6:12, 6:10, 6:08, he has to rise. He has to rise. Let us follow the sun god during these series of Bhagavad Gita, because one thing is Mahapurusha Samshraya. Vyoma is having a perpetual succession. I am not a finance student, but little bit what I know, a company or an organization has got its own identity and it has got a perpetual succession. Viswanathan may correct me on this. But the thing is, it is a living entity by itself. Because one thing we need to understand, Chit Achit Vishishtaha Ishvaraha. Chit Achit Vishishtaha Ishvaraha. The Lord resides both in this living as well as non-living. We need to understand that. Both in living as well as non-living. So, in this great Vyoma platform, we are all coming. Vyoma, which is spread across the world, we all are embracing that particular platform where the second Durlabha we are getting, which is Mahapurusha Samshrayaha. And the third, through listening to Bhagavad Gita, we get Mumukshutvam. In the first verse, which Viswanathan Mahodaya said, he spoke about the first shloka where the word Dharmakshetre, Kurukshetre, Samavetha, Yuyutsavaha, Yuyutsu, that word is there. Yuyutsu are people who are eager to fight. Bhubhukshus are people who want to keep on enjoying the ephemeral comforts. I will never call it happiness, because happiness is something which is from inside. We need to understand. Happiness is a very poor substitute for Ananda. So when the Taittiriya Upanishad defines Ananda, it talks about Anandam Brahmeti Bhyajanat. Anandena jatani chivanti yatho vacho nivartante aprapya manasasaha anandam brahmano vidvan. It talks about that experience of Brahman, which is Ananda, which is true happiness. All other things are ephemeral happiness, which is going to subside. Law of diminishing marginal utility is going to take over. And very importantly, the third one, through Bhagavad Gita, through the 18 sopanas, through the 18 steps, sopana of Bhagavad Gita, we ascend the steps of Viveka, Nirveda, Virakti, Bhitayaha, Prasadahetu, Utkramana, Archiradayaha, Prakriti, Atikranta Padadirohanam Parapti. This is called as the Paramapada Sopana. Paramapada Sopana. There was a great Kavi called Murari. And Murari said, God has taken many avataras. The Lord took many incarnations. And out of those incarnations, 2 incarnations were Purna avataras, which are Rama avatara, which is the Purna Manushya avatara, and the Krishna avatara, which is the Purna Punya avatara. The Purna Manushya avatara and the Purna Punya avatara, in both the avataras, in both the incarnations, he built a bridge. He built a bridge. Then one might ask a question that in Rama avatara, we know that he built the bridge. It is called Ramar Setu today. Ramar Setu. And there is a lot of conflict also on Ramar Setu. But NASA, in its website, it has said, it has taken the picture of this Ramar Setu in its website, NASA. It calls it as the Adams Bridge. And it said that it has been built 17 lakh years back. In the NASA's website, it is said. So it says, Setu Gita Vidayako. One is Ramar Setu, which Rama built from one shore to the other shore, where human beings and other animals, they dwell. But there is another bridge. There is another bridge which is built, which is called as the Bhagavad Gita. It is built from this shore which we are living, the worldly shore which we are living, to the eternal shore, which is a path of no return. Nachapunara vartate, nachapunara vartate iti. The Taittiriya Upanishad says, Nachapunara vartate, a path of no return, where the soul belongs to. We have come here, allide nammamane, illi valde summane, is what the Dasa says. Our house is an eternity. We have come here, illi bande summane. So Bhagavad Gita, through its sopanas, through its steps, lifts us to that world which belongs, to which this soul belongs, and it will be in eternal happiness. So if we want to transform ourselves from ephemeral comforts to eternal ananda, Bhagavad Gita is a manual. Bhagavad Gita is a manual for life. Like how an instrument comes with a manual, like how a mobile phone comes with a manual, Bhagavad Gita is a manual for life. We need to understand that. So, 3 things. Manushyatvam, Mahapurusha Samshrayaha, Mumukshatvam. Bhagavad Gita starts with Yuyutsu. We also should be Yuyutsus in one way, like Shatrughna. There are 6 enemies inside us. Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Madha, Matsarya. If we fight against them, we have to be Yuyutsus. Yuyutsus, one who are eager to fight. Bubukshus, one who are eager to only enjoy these ephemeral comforts. Mumukshus, one who are eager to experience eternal ananda or eternal happiness. So we start as Yuyutsus, fight the 6 Arishad Vargas which are there inside us, Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya, that Kama, the greed which is there inside us, Krodha, anger which is there inside us, all these we should start fighting every day, experiencing this materialistic world but not taking it inside. Very importantly, Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa says, the ship has to sail in water, but the water should not enter the boat. If the water enters the boat, the ship will sink. We are wafting through the samsara sagara. We are rafting through the samsara sagara. And when we are going through the samsara sagara, through this particular boat, which is called our body, which has got 9 holes, Navadvare Pure Dehi. Khalidasa beautifully says in his Raghuvamsha, he says, Kwasurya Prabhavo Vamshaha, Kwa Alpa Vishayavatihi, Titirshuhu Dustaram Mohat, Udupena Smisagara. He says, Kwasurya Prabhavo Vamshaha, what is the great expanse or the kirti of the Surya Vamsha, where Rama incarnated? Kwa Alpa Vishayamatihi. Where is this Alpa Vishayamatihi? Where nothing is understood to this particular soul. It is by attempting to write Raghuvamsha. I am trying to be like a boat made of salt, which is put in the sea. I don't know when it is going to melt. In the same way, we are in this samsara sagara. This boat has got 9 holes. We do not know when it is going to melt. While going, let us take these gems by having that eagerness in mind, meeting every Sunday morning. Some Sunday mornings when we are not able to do it because of various forces, we can go to the recording. But many of the Sunday mornings, we can meet here live and then take things forward. So, coming back to that verse of the Viveka Chudamani, Durlabham Trayameva Yetate Daivanugraha Hetukam Manushyatvam Mumukshatvam Mahapurusha Samshrayaha. With these thoughts, I'll be presenting my screen. I think we are at 6:23, 7 minutes. I will go into Are people able to see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. The contemporary textbooks, I will just come back to this in the next class, but the contemporary textbooks, I start with the contemporary definition from the Oxford Dictionary and the Cambridge Dictionary. The action of leading a group of people or an organization is the definition of leadership given by Oxford Dictionary. The set of characteristics that make a good leader is given by Cambridge Dictionary, and reference to our context. The Cambridge Dictionary is very, very important because we talk of the trait leadership theory. Leadership is the accomplishment of a goal through the direction of human assistants. HBR, Harvard Business Review, gives this particular definition. The man who successfully marshals his human collaborators to achieve particular ends is a leader. A great leader is one who can do so day after day, year after year, in a wide variety of circumstances, which HBR, Harvard Business Review, gives. Then the literature also talks about inspiring and motivation. And transformational leadership theory of Bass, he talks about leadership is an art of inspiring or motivating a group of people to act towards achieving a common goal. The goal is common. In an organization setting, this can mean guiding workers and colleagues with a plan to meet the organizational objectives. This is the contemporary literature or the definitions of leadership. I will definitely come back to this maybe in the next classes because we are running out of time. I need to just start and give you a hint as to what is to follow. That is why I'm rushing. And in the leadership theories, we have seen many theories. Out of them, the important theories are the contemporary theories we are talking about are the trait theories, contingency theories, situational leadership theory, and the path goal theory, which we are seeing. And in the trait theory, the contemporary texts give cognitive ability, flexibility, inner drive, leadership motivation, expertise, creativity, self-confidence, integrity. These are some of the traits. This is not complete in its all respects. These are some of the traits which a leader should have as per maybe Luthan's, Robbins, or any leading organizational behavior textbook. But we need to see that our Indian knowledge systems have gone much, much more deeper than these contemporary theories which have come in the 19th and the 20th centuries. Whenever we talk of leadership, we need to understand that the word itself gives its meaning. So, in this particular 20 and odd hours, which we are discussing now, 30 hours is 2 credits what they have spoken. We look at leadership from Srimad-Bhagavad-Gita at 3 levels. One at the individual level, one at the team level, and one at the organizational or institutional level. And the first one is at the individual level, where we talk about trait theories of leadership. And why Bhagavad Gita? Why should we take Bhagavad Gita? Bhagavad Gita, as I told you, is a yoga shastra. And very importantly, I have taken some of the sayings of some great thinkers. Arnold Toynbee says, it is now becoming clear that any chapter which had a Western beginning in business administration will have an Indian ending. The world should adopt rich thoughts of Indian wisdom. If it is not to be, it is to the end in the, it will end in the self-destruction of the human race. Henry David Thoreau says, in the morning I bathe my intellect in the stupendous and cosmogonal philosophy of the Bhagavad Gita, in comparison with which our modern world and its literature seem puny and trivial. Sri Aurobindo says the Bhagavad Gita is a true scripture of the human race, a living creation rather than a book, with a new message for every age and a new meaning for every civilization. Balagangadhar Tilak, Gita Rahasya, he wrote in jail. We need to understand this. This is a magnum opus, the most practical teaching of the Gita, and one for which it is of abiding interest, and the value of the men of the world with whom life is a series of struggle is not to give way to any morbid sentimentality when duty demands sternness and the boldness to face terrible things. Gita Rahasya is basically an encyclopedia of action. It's an encyclopedia of Karma Yoga. And Swami Vivekananda says the Gita, okay, composed of the beautiful flowers of the spiritual truths collected from the Upanishads. With these thoughts, what is Bhagavad Gita? Is it only a prayer? Should it be recited only in temples and religious functions? Is there a further dimension to this? Bhagavad Gita originated, it is not only for spiritual places. Bhagavad Gita originated in the battlefield. Bhagavad Gita is a dialogue between a leader who inspires, transforms, and gets a performer to act. The origin of Bhagavad Gita is just before taking an action. Very importantly, and it speaks about the aspects rightful action while having the right to action. The why, where, when, what, and how of action is discussed in the 18 chapters of Bhagavad Gita. And it is 9:30. I would pause here by saying what is in store. I was thinking as to contemporary books have told a lot about leadership, but leadership in its Sanskrit form talks to us about What are the traits which a leader should have, or what are the traits which a human being should have when he has to rise as a leader or lead this human life? Leadership in Sanskrit is netritva. We here discuss a model called as the netritva model of self-leadership and netritva model for team leadership at the self, at the level of the self, and at the level of the team. So netritva, N stands for non-pareil, E stands for equanimity, T stands for tenacious, R stands for role model, T stands for thinking. We come into curiosity, dadame buddhi yogam. We talk of design thinking here. U stands for ubiquitous, V stands for vision, and A stands for action. Each of these aspects have been beautifully interwoven in the Bhagavad Gita. We will start this from next Sunday session onwards, the netritva theory of self-leadership, nurturing the non-pareil nature, the equanimity of mind, tenacious adhering, role model, ubiquitous, then thinking, a visionary thinker always, being a visionary and action-oriented way of life. With these thoughts and taking you forward in the netritva theory of self-leadership, we will meet again 8:30 a.m. next Sunday. We will end with the Shanti Mantra. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah, Sarve Santu Niramayah, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu, Ma Kaschid Dukavad Bhavet. Extremely happy that 600 plus are here today. Next class onwards, we will also have discussions in the middle. We will have quizzes, we will have polls in this discussion so that all of you could participate. We would also be sending across certain questionnaires and certain tools in terms of knowing ourselves and also assessing ourselves in this particular. So it would be a participatory type of webinar. As far as technology aids, let us do, and we're confessing to all of you with a very, 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 very infinite, very, very limited technical knowledge which this soul has got. Have a great day, and sarve santu niramayah, sarve bhadrani pashyanti, ma kaschid dukkavat bhavet. Thank you so very much. Namaskar.